Hello. So the past couple weeks, I've been super busy applying for craft shows. Like, people are starting to open up applications for this year, even for like ones down the road, like in the fall. So I've been like applying for show after show after show and paying for all the booth fees, like take my money. And applying for all of these shows, I've been getting flashbacks to like when I first started this in 2023 and how basically I was like starting from scratch. I had like zero inventory and needing to decide what to start making. And deciding what to make for markets is so tough. You never really know what's gonna sell until you're there, first of all. And what flies off the table at one show might sit untouched at the next. And just because something sells well for another crocheter does not mean it's gonna sell for you. And trust me, I learned that the hard way. Here's the thing, like whether you're new to doing markets or, you've done a few, like you're a seasoned pro, but you've probably Googled what should I make for markets at least once, but probably more than once. Yeah. So today I'm going to be sharing my tips to hopefully make those decisions a little less stressful. So I've got 4 tips for you today. Make sure you stay tuned to the end and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Tip number 1 is choose low sew or no sew. I know, for some reason, this has been kind of like a controversial topic, but I'm not saying don't do any sewing pieces, but listen, like when I'm market prepping, I'm crocheting a lot because I'm trying to make as many products as possible, right? One, I'm trying to make as many of my best sellers as possible because these are the items that are like flying off the shelves. I can't keep in stock, so I need to make as many as I can. And 2, I have to make sure that I have enough of the other products because I need to have variety. And number 3, I need to make sure that I have enough of the newer products that I'm trying out at markets. And having just like 1 or 2 or 3 is not going to give me enough data to determine should I keep making these for other markets or not. So that's just like a lot of crocheting. And low sew and no sew items, they do make it so much easier and so much faster. And being able to complete crocheting a product faster is not only beneficial for you as the crocheter so that you can make as many products as you can in the shortest amount of time possible, but also I include my crocheting time in my pricing strategy. So if I can crochet it faster, that means it's also going to be more affordable for the customers. So when I'm in search of crochet patterns, new patterns, for markets specifically, I do look for low sew or no sew patterns. Tip number 2, do take big ticket items. So if you love that one dragon plushie that has all of the legs and the wings and the head and the tails that need to be sewn on, like do it. I sometimes take items that are like $50, $70. I think 70 is the highest I've done so far. Might be 75. And so far I've not sold them at markets, but I still do take them, and if there is room in my display area, I'll have 1 or 2 out. It will be much harder for you to sell items that are higher priced, but I do encourage you to have 1 or 2 with you, even if you don't end up putting them out. Like I said, for me, I don't put them out until I've finished setting up my whole booth or table in the morning, and if there is room for more, then I'll leave 1 or 2 out. It is a nice option to have available, especially because that one item could be the deciding factor for whether or not this was a successful market day for you. Tip number 3, this This is the big one for me. This is, so you've probably looked up, you know, what to crochet for markets, what's a bestseller at markets. And there are tons and tons of videos on YouTube from other market vendors sharing their market day vlogs and what their bestsellers were from that day. And I love watching market vlogs. They're probably one of my favorite YouTube videos to watch right now. But here's why I stopped listening to, or at least blindly listening to, this is my bestseller, you need to make it for your market. So as I mentioned, what sells well for one maker does not mean that item's gonna sell well for you. And yes, I learned that the hard way. I still have inventory stocked up from 2023. And they're taking up like so much space because I just can't seem to get rid of them at this point. Not to mention all of the time and material that went into like crocheting these products. Like honestly, it's kind of really frustrating to look at those products. Yeah. And remember, this was when I started, so like I had no idea what to make. I was influenced by these crochet content creators, and I made everything that they told me to make. And they don't sell well. But everything else that I made, like the plushies that I made because, you know, I thought they were cute and, you know, whatever, did totally fine. Next time you see another one of those videos where someone's saying, this is my bestseller, you need to make it for your next market, like, take a step back. Keep this in mind as you're considering that as your next market product. Basically, you're gonna wanna think about your target market, but specifically, think of the area that you're in. And the general interest of the population in your area. So I live in a rural area, very small town, a lot of hunters and farmers, fishers in the area. So now I tend to make more of like the woodland and farm animal type plushies. And these sell really well for me. Like the cows, chipmunks, and the chickens were my best sellers last year. And those are the items that sell really quickly for me versus like dinosaurs, which I'll sell one here, one there. Like people still think they're adorable, so I still make them, but I don't keep them in stock as I do like my chipmunks. So for example, maybe if you live near like by the beach or something, you might make some different sea animals. I've tried a couple of different sea animals, but they didn't sell well for me, so I just stopped making them. But I go to craft shows around here and I see other crochet vendors selling like jellyfish and octopus and all this stuff, and I'm like, do these sell well for them? Again, what works for one doesn't work for the other. If they are selling them, that's great. I don't really have big interest in making jellyfish anyway, so it works out. Also, recently I've been seeing people promoting an event around here that's like a fantasy themed, like a fantasy fair or something, which I haven't seen one like that here before, so it's a little unusual, but I think it's with that new book that came out, like the Onyx Storm or something. Sorry, I don't read. But like that's where you might make, you know, take with you some dragons or fairies and whatever other kind of mythical creatures. So yeah, think about where you are, where you're going, and who's gonna be there. Last but not least, tip number 4, if you don't like it, don't make it. So if you tried crocheting something and for whatever reason you didn't like it, like you didn't enjoy doing it, just stop. Like you can take whatever you have with you to a market, or you can make it available for sale online, but don't force yourself to make a lot of it to take to markets, or you know, make a made to order listing online. Don't do that. Like even if that becomes your bestseller, I mean, I think that's what you really want to avoid. If you don't enjoy making it, it's not gonna it's not gonna be fun for you, even when you do make money from it. I think you're just gonna burn out faster. It's just not worth it. The whole reason I started this, crochet small business was to share joy. Joy being the key word for me. I get to do what I love doing the most, which is crochet. And I love seeing people's faces when they walk into my booth and they're just their faces light up looking at my stuff. They like my stuff, and that makes me happy again. And so it's just the cycle of the joy being shared all around. But if I don't enjoy making something, I think it shows in the product. The product just, maybe it's just in my head, I don't know, but that plushie just doesn't look as cute to me if I didn't enjoy making it. So if you try out a pattern and for whatever reason, you're just not vibing with the process, just let it go. Let it go. Feel free to go back to it in the future. Maybe whatever process that you didn't enjoy the first time, you'll learn to love it down the road. Or maybe you can try using different colors or different type of yarn. And that can spark joy that didn't happen the first time. I think you'll know when you see that finished plushie if the time and effort that went into it was worth it. So if you don't like it, just don't make it. You don't want to get stuck having to batch make something that you're not enjoying just because that's gonna, bring you a few bucks. Make something else. Find something that you do enjoy making. Don't get stuck making something you don't like doing. That's the pro of having your own small business. No one's forcing you to make something you don't want to make, okay? Just crochet what you love crocheting, and your audience will find you. Thanks for tagging along with me today. I hope these tips were helpful and will make your market prep a little easier and a little less stressful. Craft shows can be very unpredictable, but staying true to what you enjoy making while being mindful of your audience can make all the difference. And remember, everyone's journey is different, so what works for another maker might not work for you, and that's okay. If you found this helpful or have your own market tips to share, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around for more small business insights, crochet inspiration, and behind the scenes fun. Bye!